Hey, Over Sports, Jacob over here. This video is going to be a little bit about the Eric Bledsoe trade rumors that have been swirling around the past few days. Now, if you don't know, Eric Bledsoe tweeted a couple days ago, "I don't want to be here," and he tried to pass this off as him being in a hair salon to the front office management for the Phoenix Suns. But obviously, we all know that Eric Bledsoe, with the way the Phoenix Suns are right now, he probably wants out of Phoenix. So they kind of suspended him for the time being, I guess, until they could find a trade. He's not going to be with the team at all. Apparently, they sent him home, according to reports. But the Bucks have been one of the leading NBA teams to show interest in him, and they have shown a lot of interest in Eric Bledsoe, trading for Eric Bledsoe ever since his days as a Clipper, where he played behind Chris Paul. Potential deals have involved anyone from Thon Maker and Greg Monroe plus a pick to John Henson and Rashad Vaughn plus a pick. Now, I'm not sure if I would really want to trade Maker concerning his potential. In my opinion, I think he's a Kevin Garnett type player, or he could become a guy like Kevin Garnett. But Henson and Vaughn, that would be, in my opinion, a good trade for the Bucks. Now, I'm not certain how much they would want to take a trade deal like that, but Henson does have some added value because he's gotten off to a great start with the Bucks this season. And Rashad Vaughn, I mean, he hasn't shown much, but he still is a young player. So, and they'd also be getting that pick, which would most likely be lottery protected. But, anyways, I mean, that actually looks kind of realistic. It looks like it could possibly happen. The Henson and Vaughn, I could see it happening. And just like a day or two ago, I really didn't think that was even remotely in the possibility. But looking at John Henson's statistics this year and how much of a role he's played with the Bucks, I mean, he's fourth in the league in blocked shots. He's been fantastic for the Bucks this year. So moving on from the trade options, I'm going to talk a little bit about what Eric Bledsoe might bring to the Bucks. And so last season he averaged 21.1 points per game, 6.3 assists per game, and 4.8 rebounds per game. He spent the first 4 years of his career as Chris Paul's backup, and Chris Paul is one of the top 10, 15 point guards in NBA history. So he'd be learning a lot from a guy like that, and I think that's carried over into his own game because he does play a lot like a Chris Paul. He's still only 27 years old, so he could definitely fit into our young nucleus we've got building in Milwaukee. He shoots 33% from three on career, which is pretty good for a point guard. He's got an excellent mid-range shot. His defense is great. He's one of the best defensive point guards in the league. He instantly makes the Bucks a top 3 seed in the East, in my opinion. Now, looking at the lineup with Bledsoe, point guard would obviously be Bledsoe. I think we'd shift Brogdon over to shooting guard. We'd move Chris Middleton down to small forward. Giannis would be power forward, and Maker, Musa, or Henson, depending on who we trade, would play center. Now, a deal that involves Maker, on the plus side of this deal, it could allow Greg Monroe to take a more expanded role with the Bucks as a starter. And Greg Monroe, at least offensively, is a all-star caliber player at center if he starts. He's a guy who could average 18, 20 points per game while also grabbing, I think, 8 to 10 rebounds a game. He's a guy who would absolutely be able to average a double-double, which would instantly put him at an all-star caliber status. But a trade involving Greg Monroe and not Thon Maker, a plus side of that is that would allow Thon Maker's role to expand. He could gain experience. He could grow a lot quicker, in my opinion. But a deal with both, in my opinion, hinders Milwaukee's front court options, although Henson is definitely a capable fill-in starter. Trading both Greg Monroe and Thon Maker, I just can't go for that. If that's what it has to come down to, then I say no deal. But if it involves someone like Brogdon and Monroe in a pick, I could go for that because we could fill in Brogdon's role at point guard with Bledsoe. Maker could take over at starter for center, or Henson, depending on which one the Bucks feel more confident in. The lineup would be relatively unchanged. It'd be Bledsoe, Middleton, Giannis, Maker. That would be our lineup, and that's a pretty good lineup in my opinion. So when it boils down to it, to answer the question, I think that as long as the deal is right for the Bucks should make this deal. They should really try and go get Eric Bledsoe, because even though I really like Malcolm Brogdon, I don't think that he has the potential that Eric Bledsoe has. And the Bucks are a realistic destination for Eric Bledsoe. And like I said, Eric Bledsoe makes the Bucks insanely better on the offensive and defensive end. I think he's a better defender than both Dellavedova and Malcolm Brogdon. So he'd be a better on defense, and he's a better scorer than both. He's arguably a better ball distributor than both, which is the main role of a point guard. I mean, with Eric Bledsoe, the possibilities are endless for the Milwaukee Bucks this season. So that's my opinion on it. As long as it's a reasonable trade for the Bucks, as long as we're not giving up 2 centers and having to go with Henson as our starter for the rest of the year. If it's one or the other, although I'd prefer it to be Greg Monroe we're trading, I would go for trading Thon Maker, so long as we don't have to attach Greg Monroe to it. Even though I'm a little bit skeptical about trading Maker, I would still go for it. So that's my opinion on the matter. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is a fun video to make, and I hope you enjoyed it. So make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.